Okay, so I just wanted to run over a couple of things with this camera for you. So when you get yours, you have a little something, a little primer. So this is the Kodak Retina IIa. Yeah, it's a groovy little camera. This one doesn't work. Like I said, well, it's not gonna fire because it's closed. Suffered a fall, or I should say I suffered a fall, and it was between my teeth and marble steps. So, yeah. But I love it. I mean, look at it. It's tiny. Like, Kodak acquired this company, I think in the early 30s, and they were developing cameras that were meant to compete with two new camera marks that were using the newly developed 35mm canister. This camera was designed for that. The other cameras that it was meant to compete with were the Barnack thread mount Leicas. And you could see the inspiration in the top face of the top plate of the Leica and the top plate of the Retina. This camera was a premium camera in its day. The fact that you could buy them for the amount that you could buy them is pretty remarkable. This had a fixed lens. It was a fixed Xenon 50 2.0, and this was obviously a thread mount, which was designed to, you know, take a number of different lenses. One of which I currently use on this, which is my workhorse, which is the M series that came out later, and is just a much more robust, brighter finder camera. But I use the older lens on it because I still think that these lenses are absolutely phenomenal, and it's collapsible. So yeah, full of style and fully functional too. But in any event, the other mark that this was competing against was Contax, and Contax was known for Zeiss. That was the Zeiss platform. So these two were the two heavy hitters of their day. This one is a little bit more advanced than this one. You can see the distance between the rangefinder windows here is wider, which gives you more accurate focus, but and you can actually control the focus by this knob here. But you know, Contax was always trying to innovate, but you know, ergonomically you have your finger over it, so it wasn't always the best design. But in any event, I'm babbling here. So these are the two cameras that in a slightly earlier version that this was meant to compete with. The advantage of this is, the disadvantage is you only have a single lens, but you could just toss this right in your pocket. You open this by pressing this button right here, and it reveals this on a turret, this beautiful Schneider Xenon 50 2.0 lens that is absolutely world-class, as good as any lens that I shoot contemporarily. Yeah, just a fantastic piece of glass. So, and it's slightly older. It's comparable to this lens in the fact that it's single-coated and not multi-coated, which means it's not going to be quite as contrasty, but you're going to have your out of focus areas are going to be a little bit more creamy, which I like. It's a more vintage look. Your aperture controls are right here, and you can see they stop on actual clicks, but you can actually cheat them in between, and you have a full range in between. It is a leaf shutter. I would fire it if it still worked, which it does not. Super quiet, super stealthy, super quiet, and silky. So you have your aperture there, and you have your shutter speed up top, which ranges from bulb, 1 second, all the way up to 500th of a second, which is pretty standard for the age of this kind of camera. And you've got your advance, and you got your shutter release. And that's pretty much it. If you want to rewind, you press this button, right? I had something in here before, I don't now. And you pull this part way out and rewind, 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 rewind until you feel it'll give. And then to open it, you just have this lever here. And then you have your trusty roll of Tri-X. To remove it, you want to extend this fully. That comes right out. It's a simple, elegant, like I said, like you wouldn't really know to look at it that this thing took as much of a beating as it did. I'm not going to say that it's a super robust camera, but you know, for its age, it's something that I shot with this for a long time, and it was a daily shooter for me. So it's I mean, provided you don't, you know, throw it around as I did, or have a catastrophic problem as I did, you're gonna do well. The problem is with the leaf shutter, they're beautiful, but when they go, they're a bitch to have repaired. And obviously you're not going to be able to just swap. It's not modular. You're not going to be able to just swap out the lens. This is the lens that this camera has. And you focus here. So basically you're going to have what is ostensibly like a rangefinder patch, right? And that's going to be a little square in the center of your frame that basically you're going to have two images. In what you want to do is you want to just match them over. Use the focus until they actually kind of go over each other like that, and that will and that'll be in focus. It's a little, I'm not gonna lie, the finder is a little pinchy. I mean, but that's something you're gonna get. The finder's a little small and not super bright, but that's the trade-off of having a camera that's this small. To close the camera, you got to make sure that your focus is down there. If it's up here, it won't close. And you pinch the top and the bottom here, and it folds just like that. But it is jam-packed full of style. I mean, look at that top and the back. I mean, it was, you know, a real premium camera in its day, and I would argue that it still is. You have some information here which, you know, you could kind of, I can't even because this is all stiff now, but you could, like, a little indicator to say what film you have, which, you know, they don't exist anymore. Plus X, Super X, infrared, I think you could still get. Kodachrome, Daylight, Kodachrome A, you know, Pan X, none of which you could get, basically. But it was just something to help you remember what you had loaded. It's not a meter. It doesn't function for anything other than that. You have an accessory shoe. It's not hot. I believe that there is actually on here a port. Yeah, there's a port right here that you can attach to a flash if you wanted to. And the nice thing about a leaf shutter is that they sync at every speed, so you don't have to be at a particular speed. You could use any shutter speed and still use a flash. I don't use flash with these cameras. So yeah. So there it is, Kodak Retina IIa. I don't know what year this came out, but I'm sure you know, a quick search on the internet could reveal that. So there you go.